This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation.
You know what was a really good movie that like nobody ever talks about, but actually start to finish was pretty legit? Was Hilary Duff's version of Cinderella, the Cinderella story with Chad Michael Murray. What? Is it embarrassing that I said that? Should I not have said that?
I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting you to say, you know, that version.
I wish I didn't say it actually, but
please tell me more. Tell me why you love this movie so much.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
You're listening to the Laughing Couple podcast with your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy. Join them weekly as they discuss topics such as relationships, kids, sex, parenting, all unfiltered and all with a healthy dose of laughter. Please welcome your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance. All black everything. Black cards, all black everything.
So did you ready? Did you think of any other topics?
Uh-huh.
Did you think of any other topics? So you're just bringing one of the 5?
Yeah. One of the 6, actually.
That doesn't help you.
What?
Fuck you.
Roughly 15% of this podcast is going to be this guy, yours truly.
Okay,
but don't worry.
Don't worry, the end will be because you always cut me off.
Well, you just cut off my joke. Don't worry. I can guarantee. Well, no, I'm not going to say it because you already said it better.
Which is also so on brand for you to be like, take my joke and then re-say it.
Worse. Yeah. I do that. I hate that.
Oh my God. Okay, anyways. I quickly,
yes,
before we begun, I just watched something that had me laughing because I was like, oh my God, I never thought about this. Some guy did a little like green screen video and he was talking about the movie Never Been Kissed. You know, with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. I'm not Josie Grossi anymore.
Yeah, I'm not Josie Grossi anymore. I didn't realize how fucked up the storyline is.
Well, she's fucking her teacher.
No, I know. But like he went through
her teacher
and like,
thinks that she's a child.
But I remember watching this being like, man, it's the best movie ever. Like, it's so good. And like, there are so many things that he just like broke down where it's like, okay, you know what? We're going to send her to high school. And she also looks beforehand, she looks like she's like 50, 60. And then they put her in high school and she looks ridiculous. Like, I know it's the 90s, so it's like whatever. And then everyone's just supposed to assume that she's in high school. And then they bring her brother back.
Yeah.
Who
the
is
athlete.
Who already finished high school.
Yeah, he's a man.
And they're like, you know what? We'll sign you back up. Like, what do you mean? Like, people know.
He wants to live out his high school dream of being a baseball player.
But, like, you can't re-sign up for high school if you've already finished high school. Do you know what I mean? So, anyways, it was really funny. And I was like, yes. And then they go into, like, how you root for the teacher. Like, when they're on the Ferris wheel and he's like, you know, he says something like, whoever ends up with you, like, is a really lucky guy. Today, it'd be like, you're in the blue pages.
He's
in
a
the
groomer.
Back of the 100%.
He's a groomer.
100%. But I was like,
teacher likes to groom.
It's so bizarre how many movies back then that we were just like, yeah. And then like she apologizes to him for like duping him out because he's fucking pissed. And why is he pissed? Because she's not a high school girl.
Yeah, that's
like,
weird.
Why are you mad?
He should be grateful that they're
right?
both adults.
He's like, well, shit.
What was once illegal is now legal.
Yes, but he's like, how could you do this to me? Like, he's so devastated. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And then sets up this like grandiose like date where it's like, I'll be on the baseball field at this time if you want to come kiss me. And then the whole school's like, yep, we're going to witness this.
Yeah,
and they're all, and he waits till the last second and then he goes and kisses her and everyone's like, fucking right. But like, are we all like,
you know what I wish would have
it's
happened?
so weird.
I wish what would have happened was someone looks to the person beside them and says, this is really cool. About 3 weeks ago, this would have been illegal.
Yes, that would have been so like beyond its time.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, I was just like, I feel like there are so many movies that we could deconstruct. That should be a full episode.
So,
oh my God, hold on. Before
okay.
I just want to put out a call to action to people who are listening.
CTA, baby.
To DM us a movie from the 90s that you feel like.
By the way, that was in the 2000s. Just so
okay,
you know.
90s, 2000s that was accepted back then, but like would absolutely not fly today. And then like I feel like we should do a full episode of just like breaking down like how messed up they are. I think it would be super fun.
Well, there was the movie She's All That.
Oh my
Do you
god, I
remember
just
that?
watched it. I watched it 2 weeks
That's the
ago.
one where she's a painter, right?
Yes, I watched it 2
so
weeks
here's
ago.
the best part. So they did a spoof on that. Do you remember when spoofs were like a big thing? Like instead of Scream, it was Scary Movie.
Oh,
they
yeah,
did,
yeah,
They
yeah.
did a spoof on that, and Chris Evans was the main character, and he was playing the Freddie Prinze Jr. kind of character. And so, do you remember the scene where they're trying to pick and navigate who's the most unlikely person to win prom queen?
Yeah.
So in this spoof, they're literally going through like a various amount of girls who probably more than likely were not going to be prom queen.
Right.
It was mean, but they were probably not going to be prom queen. And he's like, what about her? And he's like, no, she's missing a leg. People will feel bad for her. So of course she's going to win prom queen. It needs to be harder.
Okay.
And so they're going through all of these people that are having like these challenges with some sort of degree. And he's saying that all of these challenges that they have that others would see as probably not prom queen related as like, oh, that's a slam dunk because you're just going to lean on that,
Sure.
right? And then they get to the girl. She's like, well, what about this girl? She's super hot, but she likes to paint.
Yeah, and she's in fucking overalls.
And she's in overalls. Gross. Ew. No way will she win. Yeah, I can't take her on. They're like, nope, you said you'd
so
take on
funny.
anybody. I can't take her on.
No way, man.
She's so attractive. She has but paint all over her.
Yeah, it's so true. That movie, because I'm not even
Kiss
joking.
me.
I rewatched the whole movie like last month. I was like, it was on Netflix or whatever. I think I saw a TikTok on it. I'm like, oh man, I want to watch it. I don't remember everything progressing as quick as it does. Like literally, they choose her. He goes to her house and then takes her to the beach, and like then she's in. Like
She's in.
I
all it takes.
I thought it was longer.
That's
like
all
I
it
thought
takes.
it was like a longer. What's the word when
Lead
like
up?
like pursuing like what's it called?
Progression?
No, it's like when you're oh man, like you're romancing somebody and you're like it's
Well,
like
listen,
a boy.
when you're the main character in a movie
That's gonna drive me
and you
nuts.
approach a non-main character in the movie and say, I want to date you, it
Hmm.
progresses pretty quickly.
No, but like in my brain back when I watched this, it was like longer. Like there was more things that they did together and like it just happened so
Her
fast.
dad was a pool cleaner, right?
Yeah.
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 You know
Anyways.
what was a really good movie that like nobody ever talks about, but actually start to finish was pretty legit? Was Hilary Duff's version of Cinderella, the Cinderella story with Chad Michael Murray. What? Is it embarrassing that I said that? Should I not have said that?
I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting you to say, you know, that version.
I wish I didn't say it actually, but
Please tell me
because
more.
I
Tell me
did.
why you love this movie so much.
Well, so first of all, at the time when it came out, I did see it in theaters. This is like
I'm just picturing Ryan like at the movies, like,
this is like 2000.
this is so good.
This is like 2003 or 2004 this movie came out, and I was dating someone who was a huge Hilary Duff fan. Huge Hilary Duff fan, and her best friend at the time was actually in that movie, Ashley Newbro. You know,
Yes,
she's your
love
friend.
Ashley.
So Ashley Newbro was in that movie. She was at the very beginning, in the very opening scene. She has to move, if you recall.
I don't remember.
And her best friend, who's devastated that she's moving, is in the opening scene. That was Ashley Newbro. But they recast Ashley Newbro because Ashley Newbro was way taller than Hilary Duff.
Right.
So
I do
anyways,
remember you telling me that.
We watched this movie because, again, my girlfriend at the time was a huge Hilary Duff fan. And I was at that time I was
him.
I was a pretty big fan of One Tree Hill, and
yeah.
and he was the main character in One Tree Hill, so I was like, yeah, I'm down to watch this, I guess, and I left crying.
Yeah, trust my.
I'm kidding, I didn't leave crying, but it was wonderfully set up.
That's Jennifer Coolidge. She's the evil stepmother too.
Yeah.
And it's the part where she's like, it's the Botox. Because she's like, are you even mad?
Yeah.
And she has like her tanning goggles on or something. She's like, I can't show emotion for another half hour.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, that movie was legit, start to finish.
Yeah,
It had a good story.
so
Here's what
legit.
bothers me about those storylines, and in general, these storylines are like borderline. They could never really happen. So at the very end, when she comes out and she's Hilary Duff, like everyone knows who Hilary Duff is. She just happens to be in a beautiful dress. But the one difference is she has the mask that covers her eyes.
Yes.
Now, as a superhero fan,
You have to
taking your
accept that.
sunglasses, taking your glasses off, parting your hair the other way, and then showing up looking exactly the same but in a blue suit. People know Clark Kent has got to be Superman. Like, there's no way this man is 6'4", weighs 250 pounds, walking around in a suit, and people don't realize that guy's fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Like, he's a huge man. You know how big he is? He looks like Superman.
Yeah.
But his hair's parted the other way.
Not him.
Hilary Duff. Like, how did you not know it was Hilary Duff? It's like going to a sex party with just these being like, I didn't know it wasn't you.
Oh, like a masked one?
Yeah, like a masquerade, Paul. Like, how do you not know? Like, I'm sorry, take away someone's eyes and don't even take away their eyes. Take away their cheeks and the tip of their forehead, and I don't know it's you.
Remove your eyeballs.
Yes,
then you
I
might
can't see your
enter.
eyebrows. You know, if only I could see your eyebrows, I would.
God, I would know.
Why'd you sleep?
Yeah.
Why'd you sleep with that girl? I thought it was you the whole time.
There were a bunch of things in that movie that
She's
were questionable.
5'2". Yes, but
Very
I
questionable.
couldn't tell.
I don't know why we're
Anyways,
still
what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Hey, let's go back to what we are talking about. This is a new setup.
Yes, it is. What
No.
are your thoughts? We like it. Actually, don't tell us if you don't like it. Just be like, that looks stupid in your head.
Yeah.
Just talk about us behind your back like a
In
regular
your
person.
head.
Okay. Oh, speaking of talking
Yes.
about you.
Me.
Speaking of people talking about you behind your back, I watched a video, and it's this creator. Her name is Layla, and she was on a podcast. I can link it. And
She's
I-
down on her knees. She's begging you, please, Layla.
I've never heard that song in my life.
Okay, maybe it's not. Maybe I got the words wrong.
Who's it by?
I don't know.
Just make up that song.
I don't think I did. I think I made it. I don't think I
She's
made it up.
down
but I think,
on her knees.
Yeah, she's begging you, please, to come home,
Layla.
Layla.
Okay,
Da-da-da-da-da.
Jake, you have to like research this after and put
I'm
a
pretty
clip
sure
in
it
because
exists.
if it's not, I'm gonna die. It's just gonna be a Cinderella story. It's gonna be the intro song.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so this creator, her name is Layla. She's on a podcast and she's talking about the idea of being the villain, and we've all heard that like you can be the villain in someone's story, like. That is a reoccurring narrative that I've heard multiple times and I love it. And she talks about she's like, I'm okay with being the villain in someone else's story because I can assure you that it wasn't always that way. I didn't start as the villain, but people have selective memory. And so they only remember when I became the villain. But I know that I
That's
woke up.
narcissistic.
For sure. But and I agree with her. She talks about how she wakes up every single day. She's like, I know that I never intentionally wake up and say, hey, I'm going to be an ass nugget to this person on purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't wake up choosing villain. I know that my intentions and myself as a person, I'm a kind person. So if somebody has painted me the villain in the story, I know I didn't just arrive there one day. There would have had to have been things leading up to that. And so I was really into it because we all have stories and people in our life who we probably are painted a villain in their story. And it resonated with me because as much as I say oh, you know what, if I need to be the villain in your story, I'm good with that. I'm not. I really don't like that somebody thinks that I'm a villain because I'm so opposite of that. But then I started just thinking about how people paint you as a villain when you've kind of stopped being the victim, right? You've put up boundaries and they don't like these boundaries. So they're immediately like, hey, you're a villain. And so I was just like, if I'll be the villain in your story and you'll be the clown in mine. Do you know what I mean? I'm just why are you laughing?
Because this conversation, I love it. But for some reason, it feels like, when you've had too much to drink.
I'm dead ass serious.
And you start talking and you don't know where it's going to go. That's where I feel like we've arrived.
That's not.
So you be the villain, but trust me, you're the Joker in mine.
Yeah. Well, I liked the idea of it being you have to just come to terms with that. Fuck you. I was so happy to talk about this because it really resonated with me because it's really hard to accept when people say who cares what other people think of you? For the most part, I do not give a shit. But when it's involved in your life, it does affect me. And I think people are lying if they think that they go a place and they know somebody talks shit about you and they know that they're having other conversations.
Someone's at the front door.
It's the villain.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
gosh.
no, so I apologize for diminishing what you're saying because
Yeah.
what you're saying
Fuck you.
is huge. It's phenomenal. And the point that you just made is even more important, which is people say, I don't care what you think. That is so far removed from the truth. It's not even funny.
Maybe some people don't, and I want to get to that point, but I care. Like if you think that I'm something that I am not, I know that people say like that's none of your business anymore. Other people's opinion of you is none of your business. But I'm like, but it is, because I am not that person, and I don't like that this person is like spreading these about me. And this only applies, let me be clear, this only applies to people in my like in my real life. Right. And there's a handful of people in my real life that I know say these things about me. And that bothers me because they're so untrue. If it's a stranger on the internet, I don't give a fuck because they don't know me. But these other people do know me. And I don't like that they're writing a narrative that is simply not true.
The saying like sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me was said before social media.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that we have today as a society is we live in this world that's called cancel.
Mm-hmm.
And this cancel culture that we have, bad news travels way faster than good news. So someone's negative narrative of you will travel far quicker, far faster, same word, and reach more people than people's good opinions of you.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on Reddit or any one of these blogs or vlogs, when people start attacking public figures, regardless of who those public figures are, if you read through the threads, for every 10 comments, there might be one person that defends that person.
Mm-hmm.
All of the people that love that person, all of the people that respect that people, they stay quiet during that chaos. Because number one, they're probably not paying attention to it because it's not, why would they pay attention to it? And then number two, this gang idea that we have where there's power in numbers, when there's a lot of people that are very confronting, the people who don't feel the same way, they don't feel safe to even speak up because they know as soon as they speak up, they're getting thrown in it. So it's almost like, ooh, that sucks that that's happened to that person. But if I just stay quiet, then it won't happen to me. And I'm seeing it right now. We had Sarah Landry, Birds Papaya, on our podcast a year ago, and she was talking about some of this stuff. And you could see the pain in her face when she was going through.
She's a human being. Like
And
it affects her.
And so I think it's complete bullshit when someone says, you can have that opinion of me all you want. I don't care. Yes, you do. You do care. If it impacts you in some capacity, you're going to care about it. And this is actually the conversation. This is a nice segue into what we were going to talk about, starting from the bottom, right? Like, you know, the whole Drake starting from the bottom. Now we're here. No, what we're going to talk about starting from the bottom and being at the bottom. And this goes to like solidify what you're talking about, where you care about people's opinions. I heard something a long time ago, and I think we had this on the podcast about a year ago, where we had said that people are not afraid of failure. They're afraid of starting at the bottom and having people see them at the bottom. That's a fear for people. You know, there was this girl that was on Instagram the other day. She said, you know, a year ago, I did cringy Instagram videos. I decided that I was going to do cringy Instagram videos. Today I have 40,000 followers. I've replaced my income at home from the job that I hated. And now I'm living the life that I want to live because of those cringy videos. Were those videos cringy, or were they only cringy because nobody was watching them? Right? And I truly believe if you've got a voice, if you've got a message, if you've got something that you want to get out to the world, the only reason you're not doing it is because you're absolutely afraid of what someone's going to say about you.
For sure. And we've talked about that before. Like first, when you start anything new, whether that's a business, whether that's socials, whether that's literally anything, first they make fun of you, then they continue to laugh at you, then they try to discredit you, and then eventually they try to say that they know you. And that reigns true for mostly anything until you are like verified in your space, and whatever that looks like. Maybe that looks like having a community, maybe that looks like sales in a company, whatever it is. Until you get there, people will call you cringy. People, who does she think she is? Who, like, what do they think they're doing? And it's really hard.
It's so hard
not to allow those exterior voices to dictate how much more you put effort, like how much more effort you put into whatever you're doing, because it's so easy to have those little voices. What is that Lucas Graham song? The smallest voices even can make it major. There's a song that part's so good.
That's 7 Years by Lucas Graham. By the way,
so
Lucas
good.
Graham, holy Jesus, that kid's talented.
Incredible.
He's talented.
I love
But
him.
anyways, going back to what we're saying, we were very fortunate that when COVID hit, we started this podcast. And the reason we were very fortunate is because we had zero expectations of what this podcast was going to be. We weren't trying to be anything other than we need to not talk about COVID. And that was a
And we
safe
needed to laugh. We needed
it was
to
a safe
control.
place for us to create once a week or twice a week for us to sit down as a husband and a wife away from the chaos to just laugh and have a good time talking about the normal things that happened in life. And fortunately for us, because we literally didn't care what this thing would be, we were blessed that it became what it was and what it is today.
Blessed
because
be the fruit.
I look at this today, and if I'm being completely honest, if I was me today and this podcast didn't exist and you said I wanted to start a podcast, I'd be like, absolutely not.
Why?
Absolutely not. I would not want to start this today
What? Like why?
because because I'm a 40-year-old man. I don't want people to think at 40, I want people to think that I'm established. At 40, I want people to think, hey, Ryan's got his shit together. What I don't want people to think at 40 is Ryan's starting something brand new because the other thing didn't work.
Oh,
When that's not true, but I don't want people to think that. And so starting new things right now in my life is very difficult. Look at Tem.
I know.
Tem's a great example. We had this conversation on Friday on
We had like
Easter Friday.
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. We had like a full like mental breakdown.
Yeah, it was not
It
good.
was
It's not
a
healthy, but it was healthy.
It was a heavy conversation for us because, like Ryan said, like we've been creating this business on the sideline for over a year, and we've spent a lot of money creating a space where we want our mission and our outlook and the education to be the forefront. Yes, it's an e-commerce site that can help you connect these sexual wellness and education spaces, and these tools can help you there. But at the forefront of everything, we want it to be an educational platform, right? We want it to be inclusive. And so we've spent a lot of money. It's a huge investment. And so
Have a mortgage? Don't have a mortgage. Choose.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with no mortgage.
So, and like, honestly, when we went to market, we were like, our main goal for our first launch is literally not to make money. We just want to show what this is going to be. And eventually, hopefully people will want to support that. If they're going to support it, they'll come to us. There's so many puns in this space. I just love them. But right now, like we were really discussing funds, and to start a business and to really validate the business in the space, it needs to be professional. You need to have Google ads. You need to have a social media presence. You need to have strategy. You need to have marketing, and all that shit costs so much money. And I think this is why a lot of businesses are like, fuck it, we're throwing in the towel, because they run out of funds, or they're just like, this isn't working. Right. And they listen to that little voice. It's like, did you seriously just do this? Like, this is going to be embarrassing.
But
it
here's
doesn't work.
here's the little voice, and here's the reality of it. And this is what we were talking about. We looked at this and said, okay, well, we can send, because right now we go through a wholesaler in the United States, and we're working on one here in Canada. But that product gets sent to people via the box that they produce, right? And so you have the option of sending your own curated box and having all that stuff taken care of. And there's obviously a cost involved in all that stuff, which is fine, great, grand, and wonderful. But we're looking at this and we're saying like, oh my God, this packaging is expensive. Oh my God, this tissue paper is expensive. Who knew tape was this expensive? And then I said to Brittany, I'm like, why don't we just take us and our partners, sit in a kitchen and start putting these boxes together and show people that we're putting these boxes together? And it's like, yes, but then you lose the brand identity. Then you lose all of this. And it's like,
No, I didn't say that. I just said like, that is literally what we're doing right now. We are sending out like PR boxes coming from our kitchen doing that. Yes, we have distributors for when you like order things, but like we are at literally the bottom. And I think I love that a little bit, because it's not like we've just been like handed this opportunity and we are like, well, you know, someone else will figure it out. Like, no. Like we are doing everything. And I know this is like maybe a lame comparison, but I find if you look at the restaurant industry, the most successful restaurant industry and most successful manager would have started as a host. Then maybe she did expo or he did expo, then maybe went to server, then went to bar. They know the ins and outs of the entire space, and then finally moved up to management.
Burger U is what McDonald's calls it.
It is such an efficient business model, because you need to know like everything starting from the bottom all the way working to the top. And like, I personally love not that we're an we are an underdog. I love an underdog story, knowing that like this is a mom and pop shop. This is literally why we started it. We want to have these conversations. We want them to be brought into your relationships.
No, but
anyways,
what I was saying is, and what makes it difficult is, because now we've established ourselves in this space, you've established yourself on Instagram. We've got a great business that we're established in. I'm 40 years of age. We're starting from the bottom. And it's difficult.
It's confronting.
We don't want to show people that we're starting from the bottom. We don't want to show people that this conversation sucks and, oh, we spent money over here and got absolutely nothing out of it. That sucks. We don't want people to see this failure aspect involved in this. But the reality of it is, that's what this looks like right now. It's difficult. It's really tough. It's really strenuous. We have very in-depth conversations that aren't fun sometimes, but that's what it's like to start something new. And
literally,
it's like
every time
we're pretending like it's not like that. It is like that. It sucks. But at the same token, going back to the same thing that the girl said, in the cringy stages, she started off with cringy Instagram videos. They were not cringy.
Yeah.
They were her, authentically her building something. And then there was an audience that actually believed in what she was saying. And it's grown to 40,000 people. And now she's got 40,000 people that are following her story. And now her stories aren't cringy. Well, their stories are probably the exact same.
Right.
It's just now there's an audience for it. So we'll get there. But go take that and let's go to the conversation about the kids, about money, because I think this is very important for our kids to see too.
Yeah. So before we get to the money, because it is intertwined, we've just noticed our kids are, I think, just like instant gratification kids. And we have to take onus in this, because when they want something, we've been fortunate enough to say, okay, you know what? Yeah, it's in the budget. Let's get that. We want to provide that for them to a degree. It's not like, well, I want this, and we're like, yeah, here. You know what I mean? Like we are okay about that. Could we be better? Absolutely. But I've also noticed that our kids' responsibility within the house, within just like them as human beings, is very low. They don't have a lot of like work ethic, I would say. Riley's much better. She absolutely loves, hold on, I'm saying in the house. Like they're incredible athletes. They have that dedication, but in the home, they're fucking lazy. Like they'll do the bare minimum, because you and I will pick up the pieces.
Yeah, because they're kids.
No, I understand that, but we're also, as a parent, it's our job to teach them to be better human beings, so that when they're older and they have a spouse, they're not going to be lazy as fuck. And they're going to be like, wow, my parents were like, their spouses, their future spouses are going to be like, thank you. Anyways, Riley's good. Like she loves organizing her room. She absolutely loves it, and she does a great job. But it's like outside of that space, she is a kid, and we just need to do better. So we've tried, and by we I mean me. I have tried so many different types of chore charts.
That's true. I honestly haven't done anything in this category. Go ahead.
I have tried multiple different chore charts, responsibility charts, like anything, and it's good for about a week. I feel like the kids are like, oh, mom's on another responsibility chart, like fucking this will last for a week. Like they know me so well, because they just wear me down, and we're so busy and so chaotic in our life, and I can come up with like a million different excuses, but I just don't keep up with it, and I don't hold them accountable. And I think it's because I've just been so focused on oh, this is a new chart. You're gonna move this over. It's from Amazon. This is a whiteboard. Like, fuck. No, let's just have a piece of paper, and I need to make sure that they check things off every day. And they're not hard things. They're responsibilities, like literally brushing your teeth, getting changed in the morning without me having to scream at you after the third time. Right? Like I have to just start being more consistent in the routine. So whatever. And then on top of that, there are small chores. And at the end of the week, if they complete all of these things, We are going to give them $5 cash money.
I need some money.
Each.
Money.
And
Money is all I need.
I think this is also something that we need to do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we have to go to the bank because we said this before, like, oh yeah, we'll deposit it in your account. They want to see that money. So we need to go to the bank. We need to take out cash, and they both have a piggy bank. They can put it in there and they'll see the money. And when they ask for something, Cooper fucking asks for something every single day. Okay, do you want that? How much do you have in the bank? Oh, well, I have this much. Okay, then we'll make a plan. We'll go to the store and you can give your money. And this is taxes. This is like, and we've tried this a couple times with them and they do understand it. But I just think like consistency, because then they'll understand like how much things cost. Cooper has no idea.
He's 5.
I know, but you can argue that like a 5-year-old who isn't given many gifts, for whether it's one gift for your birthday, one gift for Christmas, like they understand the value of $1 better than our kids do.
They understand the value of the gift.
Yeah, for sure. I just think that we need to keep a consistency and a routine with this. And I really do mean you and I need to make sure that they are held accountable to these things.
So here's why I have not participated in this in years past.
Because
or
you want to
days
be like
past.
the fun dad.
It has nothing to do with being a fun dad whatsoever. This is the inherent problem that people have when they have ideas, right? Ideas without a structure to fulfill on those ideas that needs to be managed and agreed upon does not come to fruition. We all have ideas. You'll buy something from Amazon and it's like, oh yeah, this connects to this, and oh, this is a magnet, and you just slide it over and here's Monday's tasks. Good job by Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse and all those things.
That was years ago.
Whatever it is,
It works really well.
our kids can follow that structure if they're held accountable to that structure.
That's what I just said.
Meaning if we aren't committed to their commitment to that, if we're not holding it up, if we're not bringing it to their attention, it's a structure that is missing, and they will inherently go back to what it is that they know, which is doing fuck all.
So what is this? Why have you removed yourself?
Because I didn't see that there was a structure in place. So
you were just like, fuck it.
I'll
Good
watch
luck.
this
I watch
fail.
it burn.
I'll watch this thing fail. No, it's not that I watch it burn, and it's not that I was anti this. I thought, okay, great. If you want to do that, great. Let's be clear. You've made those decisions that you want to do that for our family without enrolling me in any one of those.
Well, that's not
You
necessary.
never once asked me to
No.
participate in this, and you've never once said, if you and I had alignment around this and we said, this is what we are going to do, then I would commit to that.
As a parent,
We have not.
As a parent, I have told you in the past, hey, Ryan, I bought these chore charts. I'd really like to make sure that the kids do them. You agree? Yes.
Yeah, I said I think it's a great idea.
And then you're just like, fucking good luck. Like, do you think that you agree and then you don't have to continue to help support in their accountability journey?
It's like this. It's like on Saturday, I wake up and it's a day off, right? I've worked all week. You've worked all week. We've worked all week. It's a day off. You decide that you want to put up a chandelier. Guess who puts the chandelier up on the Saturday?
Oh, sorry. When did this happen?
No, this is just a hypothetical.
So this hasn't happened.
This has not happened, but it's happened many times. Just take chandelier away, put couch here, move. We're cleaning the basement today. We're doing a haul. All I'm saying is this. When you have an idea, you decide that you're going to go through with that idea, and we all kind of need to enroll in that idea. And that's cool. I get it. That's how it works in this relationship. That's how it works in this marriage. I get it. It's cool. I have no problem with it. But what I'm saying is when you go out
Let's have an
actively and you
argument.
go on to Amazon and you purchase this and you say, this is the structure that I'm going to do for the kids.
Come on.
All right, go
Can
ahead,
you
do it.
stop putting your hands up like this? Because every time you
Oh,
do
yeah,
that, you're
sorry.
blocking.
We don't know this. Anyways, I get it. Like, I totally get it. But what I'm saying is you and I have never sat down and said, this is what we want to do with the kids, have we?
Yes, we have.
No,
I
we
said,
have never.
Yes, we
no,
have.
you said, this is what I want to do with the kids.
No,
And I said,
but
okay, go do
Ryan,
that.
as a parent, as a partner, you are aligned with the fact that they need to have more responsibilities and chores, and you've literally accepted this idea multiple times. And so maybe like as a partner, I need help continuing to hold them accountable, and you just have been like, well, this isn't my idea, so I'm not going to help you.
It's not that it's not my idea and I'm not going to help you. If you want to do that, go do that. If you want to do that, go do that. If we want to sit
I'm
down,
actually so. If I want to do that, we are parents. You agree with this idea? This isn't a mom.
I agree with you doing this idea.
Mom is instilling chores and responsibilities. It's not me. You laugh about saying, "Oh, I want to be the." It's not because I want to be the fun dad. What do you mean?
Let me ask you this question.
Parents.
Let me ask you this question. You had a conversation with the kids this morning about $5, right?
Yeah.
Did we talk about giving them $5?
We talked about giving them
Did
an
we
allowance.
talk about giving them $5?
Now this is semantics.
No, it's not
we
semantics.
talked about it and we said
I was
we
not
need
part
to
of
make
this
sure.
conversation.
We had a conversation prior to talking to the kids saying they are going to have to be more, this was last night, going to have to be more responsible. We're going to give them an allowance and it'll be real money. I literally had this conversation with you.
Yes, we had a conversation.
Now you're focusing on $5.
No, it's not a matter of that. What I'm saying to you is this. We had a conversation that we believe that our children no longer understand the value of gifting, no longer understand the value of $1, or they've gotten, the gap is so far that it doesn't even match their age. We need to do a better job of saying no. We need to do a better job of creating an environment where they understand that good behavior equals good results, and we have to encourage them to do that. I came upstairs today after my meeting to take the kids to school, and you talked about this whole routine and this whole program and this whole thing with $5 every single week. And if one of you doesn't do your chores, but the other one does the chores, the other one's still going to get paid and the other one's not going to get paid, and all of these things. And I'm listening to this for the very first time.
No, you're not. We had this fucking conversation last night. What are you talking about?
Everything that you talked about this morning with the kids, I was not involved in.
Oh my God. We had this conversation yesterday. Maybe you weren't listening. Maybe that's the problem. And this isn't a new, maybe.
Well, if I
It's
wasn't
not
listening, I can't validate
It's not
that.
a new
If I wasn't listening, I
conversation.
wasn't listening,
What
but
I'm
I
s-
didn't hear this.
What I'm saying is that it's annoying because we are aligned on the idea. And we've been aligned on this idea multiple times. It just seems that it's only me that has to execute it. And that's not how a partnership works in terms of parenting. If you're aligned in this idea, the fact that I need to enroll you in continuing to hold them accountable is kind of just like, it goes without saying. Like, yes, like you need, maybe I have to say to you, hey, make sure you look at their charts today. Like, have they done this? I can take the responsibility of creating those charts and putting them there. I'm going to lean on you to also help make sure that they're continuing to do those. That's not my sole responsibility just because it was my idea.
All I'm saying is, if there's no structure to fulfill on that, it ain't going to work. So what's my role in this? What's your role in this? What's Riley's role in this? What's Cooper's role in this? If we haven't defined what those roles are and we all haven't agreed to those roles, it ain't going to work.
I understand, but we've already talked about this. So maybe you and I can sit down and say, these are the following things that we can say that they need to accomplish, and we can agree on what those tasks are.
Yeah.
Then we put them on the doors and we can figure out how they want to
Yep.
do it. Sure. Fine.
And who manages it?
That's what they can check off and say, Mom, I did this. And so then maybe they check in with both you and I and say, hey,
This is what I'm saying. Right now, currently, you are throwing things on the wall, and I think they're all great ideas, but they're not concrete. They're
can
not
you
clear.
stop with your hands?
They're not concrete. They're not clear. And if they're not concrete, they're not clear. We can't expect a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old to follow them.
I
If we
understand that,
can't
but
follow
why
them,
is this
they're
all
not
on
gonna
me?
I'm not saying it's all on you. I'm
It
saying
is. You
I'm
are.
saying if we are truly, as a partnership, going to support our children and provide this structure for them, then we as a partnership need to know exactly what this structure looks like. And I'm not
Fine.
saying
And
let's
you could
create
have
it
been
today.
like, you could have been like, hey, Britt, I agree with this, and let's set up a structure.
So let's
Why
do
is
that.
it like, I agree with it, then fucking figure it out. Like, it literally reminds, like, instead of adding and giving to the situation, you kind of just sat back and was like, okay, like, why is that all on me? It goes when it's like, hey, this person didn't call me. Well, you also didn't call them. Like, we're the same. Why is this all on me? Like, how come I have to be the one to fulfill the structure? I presented this idea with you. If you know that the structure isn't there, which you clearly have noticed multiple times, instead of saying, well, this didn't work because there wasn't a structure, you knew that you could have been like, hey, can we have a structure? How is this going to work? And
I
you
could
didn't.
have, and I didn't. I have failed you as a partner.
Okay, here we go.
No, it's true. I have. I have watched something that was a great idea burn up in flames 17 different times. I've watched it happen. Now I'm saying if we want to do this and we are actually committed to doing this, then let's create a structure to fulfill on this. Because ideas are great, but without structure, they are shit. And so if we truly are committed to teaching our children the value of money and using task-oriented things to compensate for their behavior, then I'm cool with that. That we're teaching them how to have a job, which I think is a valuable lesson to have. So let's sit down, you and I, let's create intentions and outcomes and structures to fulfill on it, which is the same thing that we talk about when it comes to our marriage. Without those three things, we don't know where we're going with this thing. So let's create a very clear, crystal clear idea of what this outcome is going to look like. And then how do we structure it so that it fulfills on it? And then what do we have to support it? Like, what do we have to support this? What is your job? What is my job? And then I know what I'm going to do, and you know what you're going to do. And if something fails, we know who to look at.
Perfect.
I'm down for that. Let's do that.
Great.
Grand.
Wonderful.
No yelling on the bus. Do you have anything else that you want to add before the podcast is over?
No, I'm good.
Can we go to the space one more time? Because we never really talked about this. This new way of filming. Because we are on YouTube, believe it or not. You can watch these episodes on YouTube. I just want to notice this. I want to say this before we start, because now that we're sitting down and we're more relaxed, I got to put my leg up because it's just weird for me to sit like this. So I got to put my leg up.
Sure.
But when I put my leg up, now the camera can see that I'm either wearing socks or no socks. So I have to wear shoes.
You forgot socks on that for our wedding.
So I put these shoes on, but I wasn't wearing socks because I was in my basement. And now I don't want people to be like, because some people don't like people with shoes with no socks. What? There's people who are like, that guy needs to put some socks on.
Is that what they say?
So if you're watching this and you've been sitting here for the last half an hour plus, and you're now sitting here saying, man, I just wish that guy would wear socks. I promise you I'll wear socks moving forward. You know what I really need is I need shoes for this setting.
I'm in slippers.
Yeah. Oh, you got something on the bottom of that slipper?
Probably the price
Take
tag.
it up tape. Let's tape. Okay, what else you got?
Nothing. I'm good.
We're good? Jake, you good?
I think it-
We're good. I've been good.
He's like, I feel like I just witnessed my parents getting in a fight. Bye.
Later.
There goes a sight from my soul.